Codependency. What is it? And why should you care? It's such a big question. And I'll do my best to share the very beginning, 0 to 14 to 17 years, and how it affects the rest of your life. So it's the difference between being a dependent human being where you're constantly looking for validation in other people versus being an autonomous human being where you're fully self-sufficient, self-reliant, and you trust in yourself, dependent in yourself and what is best for you. That is the difference between a codependent person and an interdependent person, which is what we all aspire to be. So if we don't hit these 4 milestones for the ages of 4 to 29, then what happens is, we'll talk about it over here. Holas, holas, holas. Hi. If it's your first time here, welcome. My name is Vanessa. I'm a life coach and I help people get to what they want. I do that by teaching the client a few little tools and techniques to be able to increase their level of self-confidence so they can tackle those childhood traumas or events in their life that have them stuck and preventing them from moving from where they are to where they want to be. So let's get to it. Codependency. What is it and why should you care? There are 4 milestones that each of us, to be self-sufficient, self-reliant human beings, must meet, or we end up being codependent. Did you know that 98% of the American population has codependent little issues? It's a big number if you think about how many hundreds of millions of people are in the United States. And it comes to this. From 0 to 6 months is the most important and the most critical time to bond with your mother. If you don't have that bond and get that connection where you learn to trust in yourself, then you're going to be chasing that in every person you meet as an adult. From a newborn, our mothers instinctively are here to provide nurturing, love, nutrition, and protection, and ensure that all of those needs are met. And it's so important in those 6 months. If it doesn't happen, which I remember when my son was born, he had heart surgery when he was 15 days old. And one of the neonatal intensive care nurses said to me, spend as much time with him, holding him and touching him and being connected. Don't worry about all the tubes and all these, IVs and stuff that are around him. Just make sure you have as much skin-to-skin contact with him because it will allow him to be his own autonomous individual human being. And he won't be dependent on you. He will learn to trust and know that instinctively that he can depend on himself and that you care for him now. So I definitely did that. What happens at the age of 1 year old, the kids, they're like trying to pull themselves up and they're crawling and they stand up and they look at you and they're like, look what I'm doing. There's one of 2 ways that a parent responds. The first is that, oh my God, be careful, be careful, be careful. What that says to the child is like, I can't trust in myself. I can only trust in my mother. The second scenario is that little 1 year old pulling himself up on the table, trying to, look what I'm doing. And the second parent would go, good, you got this. You're all right, you got this. And it builds a sense of self within the infant child of 1 year old. The third milestone happens between the ages of 2 and 3. Now, at 2 years old, all kids go through this, or 2 years old, all kids go through this terrible twos. And it's designed with a purpose because in there is where a child learns to explore their environment. They know that their parents are close, and they feel secure and trust that their parents are close, but it's more important for them to learn who they are as their own autonomous human being and to push the boundaries and to be able to explore what's going on and how they react and how they feel. and to be qualified in those moments. From 2 to 3 years old, giving the example of children going at a park and they're playing and they're getting ready to run up the slide, and the child will inevitably look at the parent and be like, look, I'm up here at the slide. And again, 2 scenarios. The first parent will look and go, ooh, 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 be careful when you're going down the slide, keep your balance, like this. And the child again gets the message, and it's reinforced that, I can't trust in myself. I can't trust in what I'm doing. I can only trust in my parent. The second scenario, parent, 2 to 3 year old child running through the playground, up on the slide, getting ready to come down, locks eyes on the parent and is like, look. And the parent says, you got it. Come on. You can do it. Come on. And the child is like, I can trust in myself. I can do this. And when they do that, these little moments allows them to gain self-confidence in themselves. The fourth milestone is between the ages of 14 and 17. And research says that between the ages of 14 and 17, we're supposed to tell our kids yes 3 times more than we say no. Between the ages of 14 and 17, they now have a sense of self, and they are exploring as much as possible, knowing that their parents are there if they need them. But this is really a point of testing who they are as autonomous human beings. And if they haven't had an opportunity to gain those self-confidence tools and learn how to be self-reliant, learn how to self-soothe their own emotions, be able to control their fears, and be able to express their emotions in such a way, then what happens as they turn into adults, each individual human being will constantly be chasing that bonding moment with every person that they meet. They will be looking for another person where they can bond with in such a way that it qualifies who they are as a human being. And how does that manifest? You hear the term people pleaser because, oh my God, I was so that person, right? People pleasing. That means that the only way that you find validation in yourself is by doing things to help other people and do other people to the extreme of which you lose yourself. But those little exercises bring you as a human being validation that you're okay as a person, that what you're doing is okay. And you can see how destructive that could be in any relationship, because a person is never truly themselves. They're always afraid. They don't have the skill sets to be able to express what they want in the relationship, not only for they want for themselves, but also in their relationship. They don't trust the people that are with them in these love relationships or any type of relationship, to be quite honest. Because what I see a lot in my practice is I have some clients that are fantastic in their relationships, but they don't know how to set a boundary at work. They don't know how to say, no, that's not my responsibility. I'm happy to help you once you have everything in track, but I'm not going to do the work for you. God forbid we say anything like that in a work environment. And that's where codependency can rear its ugly head. And this path, it goes from 0 to 29 years old. And a father is also so very important, obviously, because what we're experiencing now in our own life, we have 4 children. And what we see in our 20 and 25-year-old, or 21 and our 25-year-old, is that they look to their father for those, hey, I'm getting this information and I want to make this decision. These are the 2 sides that I'm looking at. Can you give me some feedback? Or is there something that I'm not looking at? And fathers are always so good, because fathers give our children that opportunity to expand, to take risk, to look at the big vision of what their individual child wants to create. And it's so freaking important. I was just reading this yesterday, and it's about parentize, something like that. It's a thing. So I've experienced this in my own childhood. So there's 3 aspects of parentize. One, a parent will look at their newborn baby and look at them as an extension of themselves, and they will look to fulfill all of those things that they did not have the confidence or the will to do themselves, and they project it onto this poor, innocent little being, right? So that looks like this. You need to become a doctor or a lawyer or a musician or anything notable that brings you any kind of recognition and high dollar value, because I will feel good about myself because you have done those things. Does that sound familiar to any one of you out there? It could also be, as children, you were raised to be like representations of your parents. And by that I mean, this happened to me, that you are to be, dressed beautifully, so nice, and you're to sit there and be quiet. You're to be seen and not heard, so that other adults can look and say, oh my God, how great is their child? They're so well behaved. Oh my God, they're so fantastic. Have you experienced this, or have you done something like this? All of these things are qualifiers for being codependent individuals. And what I am going to do over December is I'm going to have December and January. I'm going to do a whole series on codependency. What is it? Where does it come from? What are the tools that we need in order to be able to move in a different direction so we can actually become autonomous, independent human beings? If you like it, talk to me. Write in the comments and let me know this is something you're interested in. So, in closing, when we human beings from the ages of 0 to 6 months do not get the bonding with our mother, where we instinctively learn to trust ourselves and know that we're safe, it affects every moment of our adult life until we recognize that there's something that we can do about it. I hope this information serves you well. Click the like button because you just like what you just heard, and subscribe to the channel, because every Thursday I drop a new video about something in regards to autism, to relationships, or to general health and wellness, because I fully believe that as human beings, it's not just our mind. It's our mind, our body, and our spirit. And collectively, it works as an integrative process. And that is how we become our best human beings. Remember, when we value ourselves, we value each other. Till then.